Stop scrolling right now. What I am about to show you is not a money hack. It is not another manifestation tutorial. This is the operating manual for reality itself, the one they have been hiding from you since the moment you learned to count. You think money is numbers. You think it is coins, paper, digital transfers between accounts. That is exactly what they want you to believe. Because the moment you understand what money actually is, pure condensed energy that responds to the same laws governing electricity, magnetism, and quantum fields, you become ungovernable. Let me prove it to you right now. You have had moments where money showed up out of nowhere, a random refund, an unexpected opportunity, someone paying you back from years ago. You called it luck. You called it coincidence or good timing. It was neither. You accidentally aligned your energetic field with the money frequency, and the universe delivered. You just did not know you did it, so you could not repeat it. And that is the whole game. They need you to think money is scarce, logical, and earned only through suffering. Because if you knew money operates on the same principles as electromagnetic fields, that it flows towards certain frequencies and repels from others, you would stop playing by their rules entirely. Here is what nobody tells you. Energy does not care about your resume. It does not care how hard you work. It does not reward suffering. It does not check your credit score. Energy responds to one thing: resonance. And right now, your energy field, your bioelectric signature, your nervous system, your subconscious programming is either a magnet or a repellent. There is no neutral. You are about to learn the truth that Nikola Tesla knew, that Einstein hinted at, that Carl Jung mapped in the human psyche, and that quantum physicists have been documenting for a century, but refused to connect to money because it would collapse the entire economic control system. This is energy control. And once you understand it, you will never see money or power the same way again. But there is a catch. There is a specific biological mechanism inside your brain right now that is actively blocking this frequency. It is a safety switch evolution installed to keep you alive in the wild, but in the modern economy, it keeps you poor. I am going to show you exactly how to locate and disable that switch later in this video, but you cannot turn it off until you understand why it was put there in the first place. If you try to force the flow of wealth without disabling this biological breaker first, you will fry your nervous system. Let's start with what they do not teach you in school. Everything, and I mean everything, is energy. This is not a metaphor. This is not spiritual poetry. This is documented, measurable, scientific fact. Your body is energy vibrating at a specific frequency. Your thoughts are electromagnetic impulses firing across neural pathways. Your emotions are biochemical energy cascading through your system. And money? Money is just crystallized human energy given form. In 1905, Einstein published E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Here is what that actually means. Matter and energy are the same thing in different states. Ice, water, steam, same substance, different frequency. Wood, fire, ash, energy transformation. Your current financial reality is just energy locked into a specific pattern. And patterns can be changed. But here is where it gets dangerous. Nikola Tesla, the man who understood energy better than anyone in modern history, said this: if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla knew that everything in existence operates on frequency. He proved you could transmit energy wirelessly. He demonstrated that the human body is an electrical system. He understood that consciousness itself generates a measurable electromagnetic field. And then his research was seized, classified, and buried. Why? Because if 99% of the population understood that they could manipulate their own energy field to attract wealth, health, and power, the entire control system would collapse. Think about it. The system requires a workforce that operates in fear. It needs you in a state of survival. When you are in survival mode, you are predictable. You consume what they tell you to consume. You work the jobs they need you to work. You accept the scraps they allow you to have. This is why the news cycle is designed to induce anxiety. This is why the educational system teaches you to follow instructions rather than create value. They are not just managing the economy, they are managing your frequency. They are keeping you tuned to a vibration of lack, scarcity, and powerlessness. And the most brilliant part of their trap, they made you your own jailer. By convincing you that money is a limited material resource, they ensured you would compete for it, hoard it, and stress over it. And that very stress, that physiological contraction in your body, broadcasts a signal into the quantum field that says, I do not have. And because the universe is a mirror, it reflects that signal back to you as more not having. You are trapped in a feedback loop of your own making, reinforced by a society that benefits from your poverty. You have been walking around as a biological radio tower, broadcasting the same fear-based frequency your parents had, your school reinforced, and the system requires you to maintain. No wonder nothing changes. The field does not lie. It does not negotiate. It matches. If your nervous system is locked in sympathetic activation, fight, flight, freeze, you are physiologically incapable of receiving abundance. Your body is screaming threat, danger, scarcity. And money, being energy, responds by staying away. But what if I told you that you can change the signal? What if you could retune your biological radio tower to a frequency that makes wealth inevitable? There is a way to do it. It involves a 3-step protocol that Tesla used, that ancient Hermetic traditions guarded with their lives, and that modern billionaires use instinctively. But to use it, you have to face the darkest part of your own psychology. You have to confront the shadow that is currently sabotaging your bank account, and that is exactly where we are going next. Let us strip away the mysticism and look at the mechanics. You have been told that wealth is a material result, a stack of cash, a number in a database, a physical asset. This is the first lie. Einstein did not just give us the atomic bomb, he gave us the alchemical key to reality, and most people missed it entirely. When he published E equals mc squared, he was not just talking about nuclear physics. He was proving that matter is simply energy slowed down to a vibration that is perceptible to the senses. Your bank account is not solid, it is energy. And here is the part that should make you sit up. Einstein also gave us relativity. He proved that time and space are not fixed. They are relative to the observer. You have experienced this. When you are terrified about a bill, a day feels like a week. That is time dilation through scarcity. But when you are in a state of absolute flow, focused on a vision, hours compress into minutes, and results that should take years happen in months. This is not a metaphor, this is physics. Wealthy people do not have more time than you. They have mastered the ability to compress time by altering their energetic relationship to it. They operate in a state of high-velocity flow, while you are stuck in the high-friction state of waiting. But how do you shift from friction to flow? The answer lies in your chest, not your head. The establishment wants you to believe your brain is the CEO of your reality. It is not. The HeartMath Institute has documented something that changes everything we know about human potential. They discovered that the heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain. This field extends 3 to 6 feet outside your body and can be detected by sensitive magnetometers. You are literally walking around inside a bubble of electromagnetic information that you are broadcasting 24/7. Here is the terrifying part. This field is a carrier wave. It carries information about your emotional state into the environment. When you feel fear, frustration, or I need money, your heart rhythm becomes jagged and incoherent. This creates a scattered, chaotic field. In physics, a chaotic signal cannot carry a clear message. It is just noise. So you can say, I am wealthy in your head 1,000 times a day. But if your heart is broadcasting a chaotic signal of, I am afraid, the universe hears the noise, not the words. The field does not lie. It cancels out your intention before it even leaves your body. But there is a specific state of physiological coherence that turns this field into a laser. And once you access it, synchronicities stop being accidents and start being the norm. I will give you the exact breathing protocol to trigger this state later. But first, you have to understand the receiver. Because a broadcast is useless without a receiver. This brings us to Nikola Tesla. He told us, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla understood the principle of sympathetic resonance. Picture two tuning forks across a room from each other. Both are calibrated to 440 Hz. If you strike the first one, the second one will begin to vibrate and hum, even though you never touched it. Why? Because they are frequency matched. The energy travels through the air and activates the second fork because there is no resistance. Now, apply this to money. Wealth has a frequency. It is a frequency of freedom, expansion, and ease. If your nervous system is calibrated to the frequency of survival, contraction, and stress, let's call it the poverty hertz, you can be standing right next to a life-changing opportunity, and you will not vibrate. You will not see it. You will not feel it. It will pass right through you because there is no sympathetic resonance. You are biologically invisible to wealth. The system knows this. That is why they keep you in a state of constant high beta stress. They are jamming your signal, so you never match the frequency of the abundance that is sitting right in front of you. But here is the danger. Most people learn about resonance and immediately try to fake it. They try to force a feeling of being rich while their reality is falling apart. This is a fatal mistake. When you try to overlay a positive frequency on top of a subconscious foundation of fear, you create what is called destructive interference. You are not creating resonance, you are creating static. And static repels everything. There is a parasite living in your subconscious mind right now that feeds on this static. It is a psychological mechanism that actively fights against any attempt you make to raise your frequency. It is the reason why every time you try to get your life together, something unexpected comes along to ruin it. It is not bad luck. It is a self-correction mechanism built into your own psyche to keep you safe in the familiar, even if the familiar is poverty. You cannot outthink this parasite. You cannot affirm it away. You have to perform a very specific type of psychological surgery to remove it. If you skip this step, no amount of visualization will save you. You need to meet the shadow. That parasite I mentioned, it is not a metaphor. It is a measurable neurological state. Your brain operates on electricity, firing at specific frequencies measured in hertz. Most of the world, including you right now, is locked in what neuroscientists call high beta. This is the frequency of 13 to 30 hertz. It is the state of focused stress, survival, and high alert problem solving. In the wild, high beta kept you alive when a predator was chasing you. But in the modern economy, high beta is where dreams go to die. The system is engineered to keep you here. The constant notifications on your phone, beta trigger. The breaking news crawl at the bottom of the screen, beta trigger. The red overdue notice in your mailbox, beta trigger. They keep your brain vibrating so fast that you never drop into the lower frequencies, alpha and theta. Alpha, 8 to 12 Hz, is the state of creative flow. Theta, 4 to 8 Hz, is the state of deep subconscious reprogramming. Here is the problem. You cannot manifest wealth from beta. Beta is reactive. It is, I need to survive this moment. Wealth is created in alpha and theta, where you can access the quantum field and collapse new timelines. But you are blocked from accessing those states by a biological tripwire. It is called the amygdala hijack. Your amygdala is the fear center of your brain. It is ancient, primitive, and incredibly fast. It does not understand inflation, debt, or credit scores. It only understands one thing: threat. When you open a bill you cannot pay, your amygdala perceives it exactly the same way it perceives a lion charging at you. It screams, death is imminent. And here is the sabotage. The moment the amygdala fires, it floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals serve one purpose: to shut down the non-essential systems so you can run or fight. And guess what your body considers non-essential during a death threat? Your prefrontal cortex. The part of your brain responsible for long-term planning, creative problem-solving, and complex decision-making. It literally goes offline. The blood drains from your forebrain and goes to your muscles. You become physiologically incapable of seeing a solution. You are not stupid. You are chemically lobotomized by your own survival instinct. You make decisions to survive the next 10 minutes, not to build the next 10 years. And that is exactly where they want you. But the biology is just the hardware. The software is even more insidious. This is where Carl Jung comes in. Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, discovered something that terrified the establishment. He called it the shadow. The shadow is not just your dark side, it is your repressed power. It is everything you were taught was bad or dangerous to be. In a society that demonizes wealth, guess what gets shoved into the shadow? Your ambition, your desire for power, your hunger for abundance. You grew up hearing, money is the root of all evil. You saw movies where the rich guy is the villain and the poor guy is the hero. Your subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your behavior, took notes. It wrote a code. Wealth equals bad. Poverty equals good. Now, consciously, you say, I want to be rich. You affirm it. You visualize it. But your shadow? Your shadow is screaming, no. It is protecting your moral identity. It believes that if you get rich, you will become evil. You will be unlovable. You will die alone. This creates a phenomenon called psycho-cybernetic misalignment. It is like driving a car with one foot on the gas and one foot slamming on the brake. You burn out the engine, you make a lot of noise, but you go nowhere. This is why lottery winners go broke within 3 years. Their conscious mind got the money, but their shadow felt unsafe with it. So the shadow took over and forced them to spend, to lose, to give it away, just to get back to the safety of poverty. The shadow will always win because it operates in the dark. It is the reason you accidentally oversleep on the day of the big meeting. It is the reason you forget to reply to the email that could change your career. That is not an accident. That is your shadow protecting you from the danger of success. So, how do you fix a broken operating system when the code is hidden? You cannot fight the shadow. Fighting it only gives it more energy. You have to integrate it. You have to bring the monster out of the basement and put it to work. You have to acknowledge the part of you that wants power, that wants money, that wants to dominate your reality. You have to tell that part of yourself, it is safe to be powerful. It is safe to be wealthy. I can have money and still be me. This is shadow integration. When you stop suppressing your desire for wealth, you release a massive amount of trapped energy. That energy, which was used to hold you back, suddenly becomes fuel. You stop apologizing for your ambition. You stop shrinking to make other people comfortable. You become magnetic because you are finally whole. A whole person vibrates at a frequency that fractures the control system. But there is a catch. Once you integrate the shadow and regulate the nervous system, you become a powerful engine. But an engine without a steering wheel is just a crash waiting to happen. You have the power, but you do not have the direction. To steer this new energy, you need an operating system. You need the code that the universe itself runs on. The ancients knew this code. They wrote it down in 7 specific laws, the Hermetic Principles. These are not religious suggestions. They are the physics of how reality is constructed. And if you violate them, even with a clear shadow, you will crash. Most people know the law of attraction, but that is just a fragment of the truth. It is like knowing gravity exists, but not knowing aerodynamics. You might jump, but you will not fly. To truly control wealth, you need to understand the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, and the master key, the law of mentalism. This is the operating manual they burned in the Library of Alexandria. This is the knowledge that turns you from a battery in the matrix into the architect of the simulation, and I am about to give you the source code. You have cleared the biological parasite. You have integrated the shadow. Now you are a raw, potent generator of energy. But power without protocol is chaos. To direct this energy into material wealth, you must understand the source code of reality itself. These are not secrets in the sense that they are hidden. They are secrets because they are so obvious that the untrained mind looks right past them. They are the Hermetic Principles, the immutable laws of physics that govern consciousness, just as gravity governs matter. You cannot break these laws. You can only break yourself against them. The first and most critical law is the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. This means that everything you see in the physical world, your house, your car, the balance in your bank account started as a thought form. It is a dense, crystallized projection of a mental state. If your internal world is chaotic, your finances will be chaotic. If your internal world is fearful, your reality will generate terrifying expenses. This is as within, so without. You have been trying to change the reflection in the mirror without changing the face. You work harder, you hustle, you grind, but your internal state is still screaming, lack. And the universe, being a perfect mental mirror, has no choice but to reflect lack back to you. This explains why lottery winners lose everything. Their external reality changed, lots of money, but their internal mental state remained at poverty consciousness. The universe cannot sustain a mismatch between the inner and outer worlds. It is an energetic impossibility, so it corrected the error by removing the money to match the internal state. To build permanent wealth, you must become wealthy internally before a single dime shows up externally. You must install the mental software of abundance while you are still broke. This feels delusional to the logical mind, but it is the only way the law operates. Now, let's look at the principle of polarity. This is the alchemist's secret weapon. The law states, everything is dual, everything has poles. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Hot and cold are not two different things. They are the same thing, temperature measured at different frequencies. Love and hate are the same energy emotion at different polarities. And here is the key. Wealth and poverty are not opposites. They are the same energy. They are just different points on the same sliding scale. This is why it is actually easier for a broke, desperate person to become wealthy than for a comfortable, bored person. The broke person has intensity. They have massive emotional energy. They are just vibrating at the fear end of the money spectrum. To get rich, they do not need to find new energy. They just need to slide their current intensity up the pole from fear to ambition. They transmute the energy. This is mental alchemy. You are not creating gold from nothing. You are changing the frequency of the lead you already have. If you are terrified about money right now, congratulations. You have the raw power necessary to become a millionaire. You just need to flip the switch. But even if you flip the switch, you will be tested by the principle of rhythm. Everything flows, out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The economy breathes. Markets crash and recover. Your bank account will flow and ebb. This is natural law. But here is where 99% of people fail. When the tide goes out, when money gets tight, when a launch fails, when the market dips, they panic, they react, they contract in fear. They look at the low tide and say, it is gone forever. That reaction creates a new cause. By panicking during the ebb, you freeze the cycle. You prevent the flow from returning. The master of energy knows that the ebb is just the pullback before the slingshot. When money goes out, they stay expanded. They stay generous. They trust the rhythm. They know that the backward swing of the pendulum creates the potential energy for the forward swing. If you can hold your frequency of abundance while your bank account is hitting zero, you have mastered the game. The flow must return. It is law. It has no choice. But if you collapse into fear, you break the circuit. This brings us to the mechanism of how this actually manifests in the physical world. Quantum mechanics. Specifically, the observer effect. You have heard of the double-slit experiment. When scientists fire particles at a wall with two slits, the particles behave like waves' pure potential until they are observed. The moment a conscious observer watches them, the wave collapses into a single particle. Matter does not exist in a fixed state until consciousness interacts with it. Apply this to your money. Right now, your financial future exists in a state of superposition. There are infinite potential timelines simultaneously coexisting in the quantum field. There is a timeline where you are homeless. There is a timeline where you are a billionaire. There is a timeline where you stay exactly where you are. All of them are real. All of them are waiting for an observer. When you wake up and think, I am so stressed, I never have enough, you are the observer collapsing the wave function into the poverty timeline. You are literally solidifying that reality out of the ether. But if you wake up and observe your reality through the lens of money flows to me effortlessly, even if your physical eyes do not see it yet, you begin to collapse the wave function of the wealth timeline. You are selecting a new probability. Most people are lazy observers. They just look at what is already there, the bills, the job, the debt, and they keep recreating it by observing it over and over again. They are stuck in a time loop of their own making. To break the loop, You have to observe a reality that has not happened yet with more intensity than the reality that is happening now. You have to believe in your vision more than your eyes. This sounds like magic, but it is just advanced physics applied to consciousness. You are the operant power. You are the cause. The world is just the effect. But knowing this is not enough. You can understand the laws of aerodynamics and still crash the plane if you do not know how to fly. You need a protocol. You need a daily physical sequence of actions that force your biology, your psychology, and your energy field to align with these laws. You need to install the software into your nervous system. And that is exactly what I am going to give you next. The precise, step-by-step installation protocol that collapses the timeline and brings the future into the now. You have the theory. You understand the physics. You see the trap. Now, we install the operating system. This is not a suggestion. This is a protocol. If you skip a step, if you treat this like a buffet where you pick and choose what feels comfortable, you will fail. The system is designed to pull you back into mediocrity with a gravitational force you cannot imagine. To escape velocity, you need thrust, and you need structure. Protocol 1. The hardware upgrade. You cannot run high-voltage software on fried hardware. If your nervous system is in survival mode, your field is static, and wealth will not stick. You need to mechanically force your body into resonance. We use the Tesla breathing method. It is deceptively simple, but the effects on your physiology are profound. Breathe in for 5.5 seconds. Breathe out for 5.5 seconds. No pauses, no holding, just a continuous rhythmic loop. Why 5.5? Because at this specific rhythm, you breathe exactly 5.5 times per minute. This creates a resonant frequency of 0.1 Hz in your cardiovascular system. This is the frequency where your heart and brain synchronize. It is the frequency of coherence. Do this for 10 minutes every single morning before you look at your phone, before you check the news, before you let the world program you. You are literally tuning your biological instrument to the frequency of receptivity. If you skip this, everything else is just intellectual entertainment. Protocol 2. The software patch. Once the hardware is humming, you need to rewrite the code. We use the 369 method. Nikola Tesla was obsessed with these numbers. He said they were the key to the universe. We are going to use them to key into your subconscious. In the morning, write your specific wealth intention 3 times. I am so happy and grateful now that money flows to me continuously. In the afternoon, write it 6 times. Before bed, write it 9 times. Do not type it. Write it with a pen on paper. This connects your motor cortex directly to your neural pathways. You are physically carving the new belief into your brain structure. The repetition 3, 6, 9 creates a geometric pattern of consistency that the subconscious mind cannot ignore. You are overriding the old scarcity script by sheer brute force of repetition. Do this for 33 days straight. If you miss a day, start over. The universe does not reward inconsistency. Protocol 3. The imprint. This is the nuclear option. Neville Goddard called it SATS, state akin to sleep. Your brainwaves cycle down from beta to alpha to theta as you fall asleep. Theta is the hypnotic state. It is the only time your conscious guard dog is asleep, and the door to the subconscious command center is wide open. Most people use this time to worry about tomorrow. They are literally programming their subconscious to create more stress. You are going to do the opposite. Lie in bed, close your eyes. Construct a short 10-second scene that implies your wish is already fulfilled. Not you getting the money, you having the money. Shake a hand. See a balance. Hear a friend congratulate you. Loop this scene over and over again until you fall asleep. You must fall asleep inside the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you do this correctly, your subconscious has no choice but to harden that hologram into fact. It will spend the next 8 hours organizing reality to match that scene. The collapse point, a warning. Now, I have to tell you the part that nobody else will. When you start this protocol, when you clear your field, when you integrate your shadow, when you start vibrating at the frequency of abundance, your life is going to fall apart. Friends will stop calling you. Your partner might pick a fight. You might lose your job. Your car might break down. Do not panic. This is not failure. This is physics. This is field clearing. You are moving to a new frequency, and everything in your life that is vibrating at the old frequency of scarcity becomes incompatible with you. It has to go. The universe is clearing the deck to make room for the new reality you just ordered. Most people see the chaos, get scared, and run back to their old patterns because at least it was stable. Do not retreat. Stand in the fire. Let the dead wood burn. The chaos is the evidence that the protocol is working. The vacuum you are creating is exactly where the wealth will rush in. You are now awake. You know the game. You know the rules. You know the cheat codes. You can no longer claim ignorance. If you stay broke, if you stay stuck, if you stay in fear, it is now a choice. You are the operant power. You are the observer. You are the source. The algorithm brought you here because a part of you is screaming for expansion. Do not let it go back to sleep. If you are ready to claim this reality, if you are ready to weather the storm and take the crown, I need you to lock it in right now. Go to the comments and write, "I am the source." Do not do it for the algorithm. Do it for your subconscious. A public declaration is a binding contract with the universe. I am the source. Like this video to amplify the signal to others who are waking up. Share it with the one person you know who is ready to leave the matrix. The door is open. Walk through it. I will see you in the field.